Welcome to our deep dive, and this one is all about glitch art. We got this really interesting article from jonCates, the glitch art pioneer.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
It's from his Medium page, just from a couple days ago, October 27th, 2024. And he's really diving into digital art, but with a focus on those, captivating glitches, those little hiccups in the system.
Yeah, they can be pretty fascinating.
So we're going to explore what sets digital art apart, how glitches are more than just those little errors, and why understanding them can give us a deeper understanding of how technology has actually evolved.
Absolutely. And, it's not just about the aesthetics, the way it looks.
Right.
We're also going to be looking at the relationship between analog and digital.
Okay.
And how those AI glitches, the things that people kind of point to as AI messing up, might actually be signs of its learning process.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, jonCates, he talks about how digital art is fueled by electricity and computation. And he contrasts this with analog technology and points out, our human connection to the analog world.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that distinction?
It's a really important observation,
Yeah.
He highlights that, yeah, we might have created machines, humans did that, but we didn't create electricity itself.
Oh, that's true.
It's this reminder that technology is built upon and interacts with, natural forces that have been around, well, forever, long before us.
Right.
We're building on something that's already there.
Exactly. And he even mentions, get this, the fourth industrial revolution. He says it's happening right now.
It is.
And he even says that today's technology is coding itself, which is mind-blowing to me.
It is.
What do you make of that statement?
It's wild, right? This whole idea of self-coding technology.
Yeah.
It's the fourth industrial revolution that he talks about. It's this merging of the physical world, the digital world, and even biological systems.
Wow.
And it's all driven by these huge advancements in AI. And so this idea of technology coding itself really starts to make sense in that context.
Yeah.
It's it's almost suggesting that the development of technology could become autonomous, beyond our direct control.
Hold on. Did he just say technology is coding itself?
Yeah.
That's a little scary, but it also perfectly sets up his next point about the difference between analog and digital. So Cates really gets into the nitty-gritty, how analog is continuous, like waves.
Like sound waves, yeah.
And digital is built on those egos and ones.
It's a binary system, yeah.
It's remarkable to me how something so complex can come from such a simple system.
It is remarkable. And, that simplicity, it's really what makes the complexity of digital tech today possible.
Okay.
But as Cates points out, all those physical systems that make this stuff run, they still exist in the analog world.
Right, right.
And that's where you get those glitches, those intriguing little moments.
Right. And that brings us to the heart of it all, glitch art. Cates, he defines it as, and I love this, the art of surprise and the ghost in the machine.
Nice.
Glitch artists, he says, actually embrace those unexpected moments when technology, veers off course from what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. They're finding the beauty in those unexpected moments.
Yeah.
When technology shows it has a mind of its own.
Right.
You could almost call it a collaboration between the artist and the glitch itself.
Oh, interesting. To illustrate this, he talks about glitch artist Donia Darkstone, who modifies cameras to intentionally create glitches.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of artists doing that kind of thing.
It's incredible to me how artists are pushing the boundaries of technology, turning limitations into, artistic expressions.
It really does challenge how we think about technology, what it should be doing.
Yeah.
It reminds us that these tools we've created, they're not always predictable.
Right.
They can have a life of their own in a way. Cates even talks about a technique called data bending, where artists intentionally mess with the code of digital files.
Data bending?
Yeah, to create unexpected visual or auditory effects.
Oh, they're manipulating the actual code.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a new one for me, data bending. It makes you wonder if these glitches are revealing something deeper about the nature of technology itself.
That's a really interesting thought.
Yeah.
And Cates actually argues that when technologies glitch, they do kind of expose a truth about their nature.
Oh.
These glitches are showing us that technology is not just a tool that we have complete control over. It has its own agency, its own way of behaving that can surprise us.
That's kind of scary, but also exciting. And this is where things get really interesting, right?
Yeah.
So Cates goes on to talk about AI.
Okay.
And how people often point to those AI glitches, like those weird AI-generated hands you see sometimes.
Right, the infamous AI hand.
Yeah, it's like proof that AI has limitations.
Yeah.
But he offers a different perspective.
Yeah.
Like, what's he getting at there?
So instead of seeing these glitches as failures, like, oh, AI messed up,
Right.
Kate suggests that maybe, just maybe, we're actually seeing AI learning in action.
Oh, okay.
Just like with glitch art, what seems like an error, a mistake, could actually be something new emerging.
That is a really interesting way to think about it.
Yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it? Maybe those AI glitches, those aren't failures at all. Maybe they're like windows into how an AI is learning and developing.
Like watching a kid learn to walk, they stumble and fall. But each time, they're getting closer.
Exactly.
So if AI is always learning and getting better, does that mean these glitches will just disappear someday?
That's the big question.
And what does that mean for glitch art, Will artists need to find new ways to create those unexpected outcomes?
That's a good possibility. I mean, as AI changes, those glitches are going to change too.
Makes sense.
And artists, they'll probably adapt, find new ways to explore and play with those unexpected results.
So it's like a dance between human creativity and how technology is developing, this push and pull.
Exactly. And remember, technology, especially AI, it's always evolving, so its glitches are evolving right along with it.
Right.
Remember those AI hands we were talking about? How, like, a while ago, AI-generated images, they were always messing up hands. They looked super weird.
Oh, yeah, those infamous AI hands, they were everywhere.
Right.
I remember seeing those and thinking, well, that's just not right.
Exactly. But as Kate points out, AI's gotten a lot better at drawing hands, as it's learned and gotten more data.
So it's like the very definition of a glitch in AI art that's constantly changing.
Yeah.
What's a glitch today might be totally normal tomorrow.
Exactly. That keeps things interesting for artists and for all of us watching AI develop, Makes you wonder what other surprises it has up its sleeve.
Right. And this brings to mind Cates' point about technology not being neutral. He says that when technologies glitch, they show us something important about how they work.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to tell us something.
It's like they have a story to tell.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying these glitches prove that technology is not just some passive tool that we're in control of. It has its own way of doing things, and sometimes it can surprise us.
Right. And this is where glitch art comes in.
Right.
Because by embracing and showing off these glitches, artists can help us see technology differently.
Like, we might even start to question those assumptions we have about technology.
Wow, I never thought of glitches as collaborating with the machine. That's such an interesting way to think about it. It's like glitch art is a form of technological critique.
Yeah.
It's not just about how it looks, it's about making us think harder about the tools we make and how they change our world.
Yeah, it definitely makes you stop and think. And Cates really believes there's a connection between glitch art and the future of AI.
So what does he say about that?
He says that by understanding how AI learns and grows through its glitches, we can really appreciate both what it can do and its limitations.
So those glitches are giving us a peek behind the curtain of how AI thinks.
Exactly.
This whole concept is so fascinating. It really challenges how we usually see technology as something predictable and purely functional.
Yeah, it shakes things up a bit. And I think that's what makes exploring glitch art so cool. It's like an invitation to embrace the unexpected and find beauty in those imperfections, in the digital world.
What I find really interesting is this idea that as AI gets smarter, its glitches will keep changing too.
Oh, for sure.
It's almost like a game of cat and mouse.
Totally. Artists trying to catch up to the technology and the technology always evolving. It'll be interesting to see what new glitch art pops up as AI gets even more complex. Cates even mentioned a workshop he's doing at the Taipei Digital Arts Festival. People are actually trying to create those AI hands using traditional art methods.
Wow, so it's blending the digital and the analog. That's really cool.
It is. It's like this reminder that even in a world where digital tech is everywhere, the human touch is still so important.
Because ultimately, it's us humans who are driving the creativity and curiosity that fuels both art and technology.
Absolutely.
So speaking of creativity and curiosity, what else does Cates highlight in his article?
Well, he keeps coming back to this idea that glitch art is all about surprise.
Okay, let's break that down a bit.
Yeah.
What does he mean by surprise? And why is it so central to glitch art?
He's talking about those unexpected things that happen when technology does something we don't expect. Those surprises, they can be jarring, even a little unsettling, but they can also be a source of wonder and delight.
It's funny. Just the other day, my phone froze and the screen totally glitched out.
Uh-huh.
And I was annoyed at first,
Mm-hmm.
but then I started to see the patterns on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of beautiful. It's like this little accidental piece of art.
Exactly. It's like the difference between watching a perfectly choreographed dance and seeing a spontaneous improvisation. Both can be captivating, but the improvisation, it keeps you guessing.
I see what you mean.
And it's that element of surprise that glitch artists are really trying to capture and amplify in their work. They're not interested in just making perfect digital images or sounds. They're exploring the possibilities that emerge when technology goes off script.
So it all ties back to that idea of glitch art being this collaboration between the artist and the machine.
Yeah.
The artist sets things up,
Mhm.
but the glitch, that's what really determines what the final result looks like.
Exactly. And that's what makes glitch art so interesting. It's this constant negotiation between what the human intends and what the technology does on its own.
It's like Kate says, glitch artists, they don't see technology as this tool for getting answers. They see it as a source of questions.
Right. They're not trying to control it. They're trying to understand it better.
Instead of trying to control technology, they're embracing that unpredictability, even celebrating it.
Exactly. They're looking for those ghosts in the machine, those moments where technology shows its own unique and often surprising character.
It's such a fascinating perspective.
Yeah.
And I think it's especially important now when we depend so much on technology, but often just take it for granted.
Absolutely. Glitch art is like this reminder that technology isn't just some neutral tool. It's complicated, it has its own logic, and it can surprise us. And sometimes those surprises are really beautiful.
Makes you wonder, what other ghosts are hiding in the machines we use every day?
Right.
And what amazing things we might find if we were just a little more open to seeing them.
Yeah, totally. And he uses this really beautiful metaphor to describe that. He talks about glitches being like digital spirits in our material world.
It's such a cool way to put it. Like technology has a presence, a life force, something beyond just what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, like it's trying to talk to us in a language we don't quite get.
Maybe that's why glitch art can be a little unsettling for some people.
Maybe.
Like it forces us to think about the possibility that technology is not as predictable or controllable as we want it to be.
Right, it has a mind of its own.
But as Kate says, it's those moments of surprise when technology breaks away from what we expect. That's where we can see its real potential.
That's where the magic happens.
And maybe even our own potential, too.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Because when we're creating and appreciating glitch art, we have to stretch our own creativity and challenge how we think about the world.
That's true. It pushes you out of your comfort zone.
It's like Kate says, glitch art defines digital art. It's a key to unlocking what makes this medium so unique
Yeah, I see what you mean.
and understanding what it can really do.
And maybe it's a key to understanding ourselves, too.
Oh, that's deep.
Because by, looking at those glitches in technology, maybe we're also seeing the glitches in our own thinking, in how we see the world.
This deep dive has really given us a lot to think about. It's amazing how something as simple as a glitch can show us so much about technology, art, and how we interact with this digital world.
Absolutely. It encourages us to question everything, embrace the unexpected, and find beauty in the most surprising places.
And maybe most importantly, it reminds us that the future of technology isn't set in stone.
Right.
It's something we're all creating through our creativity, our curiosity, and even our mistakes.
Yeah, our glitches.
So next time you see a glitch, whether it's on your phone, your computer, or even in some AI art, don't just dismiss it as an error.
Right.
Take a second to see it as a glimpse into what technology can really do.
Who knows what you might find?
You might discover something amazing